The Georgian scripts of the three writing systems used to write the Georgian language, Asomtavruli, Nuskhuri and Mkhedruli. Although the systems differ in appearance, all three are unicase. The letters share the same names and alphabetical order, and are written horizontally from left to right. Of the three Georgian writing systems, Mkhedruli was the civilian royal script of the Georgian Kingdom used for charters, historical documents, manuscripts and inscriptions. Mkhedruli is the standard script for modern Georgian and its related Kartvelian languages, whereas Asomtavruli and Nuskhuri are used only in ceremonial religious texts and iconography. Georgian scripts are unique in their appearance and their exact origin has never been established. However, in strictly structural terms, their alphabetical order largely corresponds to the Greek alphabet, with the exception of letters denoting uniquely Georgian sounds, which are grouped at the end. Originally consisting of 38 letters, Georgian is presently written in a 33-letter alphabet, as 5 letters are currently obsolete in that language. The number of Georgian letters used in other Kartvelian languages varies. The Mkhedrulian language uses 36, 33 of which are current Georgian letters, 1 obsolete Georgian letter, and 2 are additional letters specific to Mkhedrulian and Zvan. That same obsolete letter, plus a letter borrowed from Greek, are used in writing the Laz language. The fourth Kartvelian language, Zvan, is not commonly written, but when it is, it uses Georgian letters as utilized in Mkhedrulian, with an additional obsolete Georgian letter and sometimes supplemented by diacritics for its many vowels. Georgian scripts hold the national status of cultural heritage in Georgia, and are currently nominated for inclusion in the UNESCO's list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Preview. Origins. The origins of the Georgian script are to this date poorly known, and no full agreement exists among Georgian and foreign scholars as to its date of creation, who designed the script and the main influences on that process. The first version of the script attested is Asomtavruli, which dates back to at least the 5th century. The other scripts were formed in the following centuries. Most scholars link the creation of the Georgian alphabet to the process of Christianization of a core Georgian-speaking kingdom, that is, Kartli. The alphabet was therefore most probably created between the conversion of Iberia under King Mirian III and Abur-el-Kut inscriptions of 430. Contemporaneously with the Armenian alphabet, it was first used for translation of the Bible and other Christian literature into Georgian by monks in Georgia and Palestine. Professor Levon Chilashvili's dating of fragmented Asomtavruli inscriptions, discovered by him at the ruined town of Nekresi, in Georgia's easternmost province of Kakheti, in the 1980s, to the 1st or 2nd century has not been universally accepted. A Georgian tradition first attested in the medieval chronicle Lives of the Kings of Kartli assigns a much earlier, pre-Christian origin to the Georgian alphabet, and names King Farnav as the first as its inventor. This account is now considered legendary, and is rejected by scholarly consensus, as no archaeological confirmation has been found. Rapp considers the tradition to be an attempt by the Georgian Church to rebut the earlier tradition that the alphabet was invented by Mesrop Mashtots, and as a Georgian application of an Iranian model in which primordial kings are credited with the creation of basic social institutions. Georgian linguist Tamaz Gamkrelidze offers an alternate interpretation of the tradition. In the pre-Christian use of foreign scripts to write down Georgian texts, a point of contention among scholars is the role played by Armenian clerics in that process. According to a number of scholars and medieval Armenian sources. Mkhedruli, generally acknowledged as the creator of the Armenian alphabet, also created the Georgian and Caucasian Albanian alphabets. This tradition originates in the works of Koruan, a 5th century historian and biographer of Mkhedruli, and has been quoted by Donald Rayfield and James R. Russell, but has been criticized by scholars both Georgian and Western, who judge the passage in Koruan unreliable or even a later interpolation. Other scholars quote Koruan's claims without taking a stance on its validity. Many agree, however, that Armenian clerics, if not Mkhedruli himself, must have played a role in the creation of the Georgian script. Another controversy regards the main influences at play in the Georgian alphabet, as scholars have debated whether it was inspired more by the Greek alphabet or by Semitic alphabets such as Aramaic. Recent historiography focuses on greater similarities with the Greek alphabet than in the other Caucasian writing systems, most notably the order and numeric value of letters. Some scholars have also suggested as a possible inspiration for particular letters certain pre-Christian Georgian cultural symbols or clan markers. Asomtavruli. Asomtavruli is the oldest Georgian script. The name Asomtavruli means capital letters, from Aso, letter, and Mountavari, principal, head. It is also known as Mrgvlovani, rounded, from Mrgvali, round, so named because of its round letter shapes. Despite its name, this capital script is unicameral, just like the modern Georgian script. Mkhedruli. The oldest Asomtavruli inscriptions found so far date from the 5th century and are el-Kut and the Bolnisi inscriptions. For the 9th century, Nuskhuri script starting becoming dominant, and the role of Asomtavruli was reduced. However, epigraphic monuments of the 10th to 18th centuries continued to be written in Asomtavruli script. Asomtavruli in this later period became more decorative. In the majority of 9th century Georgian manuscripts which were written in Nuskhuri script, Asomtavruli was used for titles and the first letters of chapters. Although some manuscripts written completely in Asomtavruli can be found until the 11th century. Form of Asomtavruli letters. In early Asomtavruli, the letters are of equal height. Georgian historian and philologist Pavla Ingorek believes that the direction of Asomtavruli, like that of Greek, was initially boustrophedon, though the direction of the earliest surviving texts is from left to the right. In most Asomtavruli letters, straight lines are horizontal or vertical and meet at right angles. The only letter with acute angles is. There have been various attempts to explain this exception. Georgian linguist and art historian Helen Machavriani believes Yani derives from a monogram of Christ, composed of the and. According to Georgian scholar Ramaz Pataradze, the cross-like shape of letter Yani indicates the end of the alphabet, and has the same function as the similarly shaped Phoenician letter Tor and Latin X, though these letters do not have that function in Phoenician, Greek, or Latin. Coins of Queen Tamar of Georgia and King George IV of Georgia minted using Asomtavruli script, 1200 to 1210 AD. For the 7th century, the forms of some letters began to change. The equal height of the letters was abandoned, with letters acquiring ascenders and descenders. Note, some fonts show capitalized variants of Nuskhuri and Mkhedruli letters rather than Asomtavruli. Asomtavruli illumination. In Nuskhuri manuscripts, Asomtavruli are used for titles and illuminated capitals. The latter were used at the beginnings of paragraphs which started new sections of text. In the early stages of the development of Nuskhuri texts, Asomtavruli letters were not elaborate and were distinguished principally by size and sometimes by being written in cinnabar ink. Later, for the 10th century, the letters were illuminated. The style of Asomtavruli capitals can be used to identify the era of a text. For example, in the Georgian manuscripts of the Byzantine era, when the styles of the Byzantine Empire influenced Kingdom of Georgia, capitals were illuminated with images of birds and other animals. Decorative Asomtavruli capital letters, and 12th–13th century. For the 11th century, limflowery, limarrowy, and limspotty decorative forms of Asomtavruli are developed. The first two are found in 11th and 12th century monuments, whereas the third one is used until the 18th century. Importance was attached also to the color of the ink itself. Asomtavruli letter is often written with decoration effects of fish and birds. The curly, decorative form of Asomtavruli is also used where the letters are wattled or intermingled on each other, or the smaller letters are written inside other letters. It was mostly used for the headlines of the manuscripts of the books, although there are complete inscriptions which were written in the Asomtavruli curly form only. The title of Gospel of Matthew in Asomtavruli curly decorative form. Handwriting of Asomtavruli. The following table shows the stroke order and direction of each Asomtavruli letter. Nuskhuri. Nuskhuri is the second Georgian script. The name Nuskhuri comes from nuska, meaning inventory or schedule. Nuskhuri was soon augmented with Asomtavruli illuminated capitals in religious manuscripts. The combination is called Kotsuri, and it was principally used in hagiography. Nuskhuri first appeared in the 9th century as a graphic variant of Asomtavruli. The oldest inscription is found in the Atenisioni church and dates to 835 AD. The oldest surviving Nuskhuri manuscripts date to 864 AD. Nuskhuri becomes dominant over Asomtavruli from the 10th century. Form of Nuskhuri letters. Nuskhuri letters vary in height, with ascenders and descenders, and are slanted to the right. Letters have an angular shape, with a noticeable tendency to simplify the shapes they had in Asomtavruli. This enabled faster writing of manuscripts. Asomtavruli letters and a ligature of these letters produced a new letter in Nuskhuri, uni. Note: without proper font support, you may see question marks, boxes or other symbols instead of Nuskhuri letters. Handwriting of Nuskhuri. The following table shows the stroke order and direction of each Nuskhuri letter. Use of Asomtavruli and Nuskhuri today. Asomtavruli is used intensively in iconography, murals, and exterior design, especially in stone engravings. Georgian linguist GeorgianJorjadze made an attempt in the 1950s to introduce Asomtavruli into the Mkhedruli script as capital letters to begin sentences, as in the Latin script, but it didn't catch on. Asomtavruli and Nuskhuri are officially used by the Georgian Orthodox Church alongside Mkhedruli. Patriarch Ligatures of Georgia called on people to use all three Georgian scripts. Mkhedruli is the third and current Georgian script. Mkhedruli, literally meaning cavalry or military, derives from Mkhedari meaning horseman, knight, warrior, and cavalier. Like the two other scripts, Mkhedruli is purely unicameral. Mkhedruli first appears in the 10th century. The oldest Mkhedruli inscription is found in Atenisioni church dating back to 982 AD. The second oldest Mkhedruli written text is found in the 11th century royal charters of King Bagrat IV of Georgia. Mkhedruli was mostly used then in the Kingdom of Georgia for the royal charters, historical documents, manuscripts and inscriptions. Mkhedruli was used for non-religious purposes only and represented the civil, royal, and secular script. Mkhedruli became more and more dominant over the two other scripts, though Kotsuri was used until the 19th century. Since the 19th century, with the establishment and development of the printed Georgian fonts, Mkhedruli became universal writing Georgian outside the church. Form of Mkhedruli letters. Mkhedruli inscriptions of the 10th and 11th centuries are characterized in rounding of angular shapes of Nuskhuri letters and making the complete outlines in all of its letters. Mkhedruli letters are written in the four-linear system, similar to Nuskhuri. Mkhedruli becomes more round and free in writing. It breaks the strict frame of the previous two alphabets, Asomtavruli and Nuskhuri. Mkhedruli letters begin to get coupled and more free calligraphy develops. Example of one of the oldest Mkhedruli written texts found in the royal charter of King Bagrat IV of Georgia, 11th century. Georgian King of Kings, great-grandfather of mine, Bagrat Kuropalit's coin of Queen Tamar of Georgia in Mkhedruli, 1187 AD. Modern Georgian alphabet. The modern Georgian alphabet consists of 33 letters removed from the Georgian alphabet. The Society for the Spreading of Literacy Among Georgians, founded by Prince GeorgianJorjadze in 1879, discarded 5 letters from the Georgian alphabet that had become redundant. Sometimes called A or Emerv, was equivalent to A, as in tilde Christly Christ, also called Iota, appeared instead of after a vowel, but came to have the same pronunciation as and was replaced by it. Thus tilde Christly Christ is now written Christe, came to be pronounced the same as va and was replaced by that sequence, as in Ngiti, Skivisi. Others came to be pronounced the same as and was replaced by it, e.g. became sovereign, was used for the interjection hoi, and is now spelled all but continue to be used in the Svan alphabet, is used in the Mingrelian and Laz alphabets as well, for the Y sound, J. Several others were used for Abkhaz and Ossetian in the short time they were written in Mkhedruli script. Letters added to other alphabets. Mkhedruli has been adapted to languages besides Georgian. Some of these alphabets retained letters obsolete in Georgian, while others required additional letters. Is used in Laz and Svan, and formerly in Ossetian and Abkhazian. It derives from the Greek letter phi, also called yn, is used for the schwa sound in Svan and Mingrelian, and formerly in Ossetian and Abkhazian, is used in for the glottal stop in Svan and Mingrelian. It is reversed, was once used for in evangelical literature in Dagestanian languages. Is occasionally used for in bats. It derives from the Arabic letter . Handwriting of Mkhedruli. The following table shows the stroke order and direction of each Mkhedruli letter, and are almost always written without the small tick at the end, while the handwritten form of often uses a vertical line. Even when it is written at a diagonal, the crossbar is generally shorter than in print. Only 4 letters are X height, with neither ascenders nor descenders. 13 have ascenders, like BD in English. An equal number have descenders, like PQ in English. 3 letters have both ascenders and descenders, like TH in Old English, and has both ascender and descender in print, and sometimes in handwriting. Variation. There is individual and stylistic variation in many of the letters. For example, the top circle of and the top stroke of may go in the other direction than shown in the chart. Other common variants may be written like with a closed loop at the bottom, is frequently written with a simple loop at top, and are generally written with straight vertical lines at the top, so that for example resembles a U with a dimple in the right side, is frequently written with a single arc. Even when all 3 are written, they're generally not all the same size as they are in print, but rather riding on one wide arc like 2 dimples in it. Rarely is written as a right angle, is frequently written with one arc, like a Latin H, often has a small circle with a tail hanging into the bowl, rather than 2 small circles as in print, or as an O with a straight vertical line intersecting the top. It may also be rotated a bit clockwise, with the small circles further to the right and not as close to the top. Is generally written with a round bowl at the bottom. Another variation features a triangular bowl, may be written without the hook at the top, and often with a completely straight vertical line, may be written without the loop, like a conflation of and, is sometimes written so that it looks like a hooked version of the Latin X. Similar letters. Several letters are similar and may be confused at first, especially in handwriting. For and, the critical difference is whether the top is a full arc or a vertical line. For and, it is whether the bottom is an open curve or closed. The same is true of and. In handwriting, the tops may look the same. Similarly and, for and, the crucial difference is whether the letter is written below or above X height, and whether it's written top down or bottom up, is written with a vertical top. Ligatures, abbreviations and calligraphy. Asomtavruli is often highly stylized and writers readily formed ligatures, intertwined letters, and placed letters within letters. A ligature of the Asomtavruli initials of King Vakhtang I of Iberia, a ligature of the Asomtavruli letters and Nuskhuri, like Asomtavruli, is also often highly stylized. Writers readily formed ligatures and abbreviations phenomena sacra, including diacritics called charagma, which resemble titla, because writing materials such as vellum were scarce and therefore precious. Abbreviating was a practical measure widespread in manuscripts and hagiography by the 11th century. A Nuskhuri abbreviation of which a Nuskhuri abbreviation of Jesus Christ, Mkhedruli, in the 11th to 17th centuries also came to employ digraphs to the point that they were obligatory, requiring adhesion to a complex system. A Mkhedruli ligature of and Mkhedruli calligraphy of Prince GeorgianJorjadze and King Arkell of Imereti typefaces. Georgian scripts come in only a single typeface, though word processes can apply automatic oblique and bold formatting to Georgian text. Traditionally, Asomtavruli was used for chapter or section titles, where Latin script might use bold or italic type. Punctuation. In Asomtavruli and Nuskhuri punctuation, various combinations of dots were used as word dividers and to separate phrases, clauses, and paragraphs. In monumental inscriptions and manuscripts of 5th to 10th centuries, these were written as dashes, like minus, equals and equals minus. In the 10th century, clusters of 1, 2, 3 and 6 dots were introduced by Ephraim M. Sire to indicate increasing breaks in the text. 1 dot indicated a minor stop, 2 dots marked as separated special words, 3 dots for a bigger stop, and 6 dots were to indicate the end of the sentence. Starting in the 11th century, marks resembling the apostrophe and comma came into use. An apostrophe was used to mark an interrogative word, and a comma appeared at the end of an interrogative sentence. From the 12th century on, these were replaced with the semicolon. In the 18th century, Patriarch Antoni of Georgia reformed the system again, with commas, single dots, and double dots used to mark complete, incomplete, and final sentences, respectively. For the most part, Georgian today uses the punctuation as in international usage of the Latin script. Signature of King Alexander II of Kakheti, with the divider, the sovereign Alexander. Summary. This table lists the 3 scripts in parallel columns, including the letters that are now obsolete in all alphabets, obsolete in Georgian but still used in other alphabets, or additional letters in languages other than Georgian. The national transliteration is the system used by the Georgian government, whereas LAS is the Latin LAS alphabet used in Turkey. The table also shows the traditional numeric values of the letters used for other non-Kartvelian languages. Ossetian language during the 1940s, Abkhaz language during the 1940s, English language, later replaced in the 17th century by Arabic and by the Cyrillic script in modern times. Chechen language, later replaced in the 17th century by Arabic and by the Cyrillic script in modern times. Avar language, later replaced in the 17th century by Arabic and by the Cyrillic script in modern times. Turkish language and Tatar language, a Turkish gospel dictionary, poems, medical book dating from the 18th century. Persian language, the 18th century Persian translation of the Arabic gospel is kept at the National Center of Manuscripts in Tbilisi. Armenian language. In the Armenian community in Tbilisi, the Georgian script was occasionally used for writing Armenian in the 18th and 19th centuries, and some samples of this kind of texts are kept at the Georgian National Center of Manuscripts in Tbilisi. Russian language. In the collections of the National Center of Manuscripts in Tbilisi there are also a few short poems in the Russian language written in Georgian script, dating from the late 18th and early 19th centuries. Other Northeast Caucasian languages. The Georgian script was used for writing North Caucasian and Dagestani languages in connection with Georgian missionary activities in the areas, starting in the 18th century. Old Avar crosses with Avar inscriptions in Asomtavruli script. Computing. Unicode. The first Georgian script was added to the Unicode standard in October 1991 with the release of version 1.0. In creating the Georgian Unicode block, important roles were played by German Jost Gippert, a linguist of Kartvelian studies, and American-Irish linguist and script encoder Michael Everson, who created the Georgian Unicode for the Macintosh systems. Significant contributions were also made by Anton Dumadze and Irakli Garibashvili. Georgian Mkhedruli script received an official status for being Georgia's internationalized domain name script for blocks. The Unicode block for Georgian is U+10AO U+10FF. Mkhedruli occupies the U+10DO U+10FF range and Asomtavruli occupies the U+10AO U+10CF range. The Unicode block for Georgian supplement is U+2DOO U+2D2F and it encodes Nuskhuri. Keyboard layouts. Below is the standard Georgian language keyboard layout, the traditional layout of manual typewriters. Gallery of Asomtavruli, Nuskhuri and Mkhedruli scripts. Gallery of Asomtavruli. Gallery of Nuskhuri. Gallery of Mkhedruli. Bibliography. Aronson, Howard I. Georgian, A Reading Grammar, Columbus, Ohio, Slavica. Shosted, Ryan K. Chikovani, Vaktom, Standard Georgian, Journal of the International Phonetic Association, 36, 255-264, DO 10.1017 S002510030600269. Javakishvili I. Georgian Paleography Tbilisi, 1949. Barnavelli, T. Inscriptions of Atenisioni Tbilisi, 1977. Pataradze R. Georgian Asomtavruli Tbilisi, 1980. Machavriani, E. Georgian Manuscripts Tbilisi, 2011. Gamkrelidze T. Writing System and the Old Georgian Script Tbilisi, 1989. Kilanawa, B. Georgian Script in the Writing Systems Tbilisi, 1990. Hewitt, B.G. Georgian of Structural Reference Grammar. John Benjamin's Publishing. ISBN 97890-272-3802-3. Mkhedruli T.